In inclusive K-12 classrooms, special population students integrate with general education students. All students engage in the instruction and assessment cycle where feedback is received from students which influences instructional methods. It is important to differentiate instruction and assessments to create equity for all students. Differentiation through assessment, accommodations, and modifications is very challenging in online environments. To ensure special population students' unique needs are being met and barriers are overcome, teachers must comply with laws associated with accommodations and modifications. Accommodation and modification are two approaches to making assessments equitable for all students. In assessment through accommodation, the assignments given to special populations and general education students are the same, but the approaches by which students are assessed are changed. With modification, on the other hand, the assessments for special populations are changed. For example, a common form of accommodation is allowing students more time to complete an exam, while a modification might be to use a different exam format or different questions for special populations. In order to differentiate assessments for special populations in online environments, it is important to pay specific attention to the individual needs of all students. These needs and associated learning goals are outlined in the student's Individualized Education Plans, or IEPs, Individualized Learning Plans, or ILPs, and 504 plans. These plans are binding legal documents that disclose individual student needs, goals, and required accommodations or modifications. There are two primary ways that assessments can be differentiated for special populations. One is through creating and communicating assessments to students by providing them with varied support. Providing visual cues to denote how much time is given for a particular assessment and indicating different stages of assessments can be one type of such support. It is also important to consider adapting assessment activities to remove any obstacle from the process. For instance, if a student has difficulty in completing an assessment item through verbal communication, they can be prompted to respond in written form instead. If required, supplying special equipment and technology can also help students complete assessment items more effectively. For example, supplying a screen reader software will help visually challenged students understand and respond to textual assessment items. Besides providing students with varied support, another way of differentiating assessments is through developing rapport or relationships that support students. Building positive and supportive relationships with students promotes greater understanding of specific student needs. One-on-one virtual meetings can be utilized to facilitate the process. Emphasis can be placed on building online communities among students through which students can interact with and learn from each other. It is also important to promote student self-advocacy, encourage students to self-identify, and communicate their learning needs. When differentiating assessments for special population students, it is important to consider Universal Design for Learning, or UDL Principles. According to UDL Principles, teachers can best support learning by providing multiple methods of representation, multiple means of student action and expression, and multiple modes of student engagement. Multiple methods of representation refer to varied ways of presenting learning content, such as utilizing multiple forms of media, offering alternative forms of the content, and customizing the display of information. Multiple means of action and expression means providing students with multiple opportunities to express what they have learned, such as providing tools and assistive technologies. Multiple modes of student engagement refers to providing students with opportunities to engage in varied ways, such as through self-reflection and participation in discussion with other students in online environments. Implementing UDL principles will benefit all students, including both general education and special population students. However, it is important to keep in mind that if UDL principles do not meet the specific individual needs identified in students' IEP, ILP, and 504 plans, it is a legal requirement to further differentiate assessments. Differentiating assessments for special populations is very important to support all students and enable them to be successful. This can be achieved by using varied methods and developing effective relationships. Additional resources for differentiating assessments for special populations are available on this webpage. Resources include a printable summary, related examples, articles, blogs, infographics, and videos, and links to other related blended and online teaching hub topics.